Hey everybody, Jim Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. Well, I am broadcasting on YouTube and on TikTok due to a little bit of a limited bandwidth constraint. You'll just be seeing my mug with the with the voiceover on YouTube, but I promise you, all of the charts will be there, and we'll be moving forward on that. So, thanks for sticking with me today. And let's get into the let's get into the slides. All right. So basically, what's happening is that we have basically a cold weather situation here in Texas, and it is pushed up a glaring problem, and that is that while we were all getting into growth stocks, they're sort of seem like they're topping out. Who knows? But there is one sector of the economy that has not been getting the love, and that's been the oil and gas industry. And so what's happening is we're seeing possibly a move into some of the oil and gas stocks. As a matter of fact, the stock of today is a gas producer in Pittsburgh that just showed some seriously excellent numbers, and so it's there may be a change coming in the market. Just don't know. The market direction is still very good, though. We're still up, and that's still we're still up, but we've fallen below that critical 14,000 on the Nasdaq, and we are down about 1% on the Nasdaq. So and Tesla is down, and Apple is down, and several of the other stocks are. I've been out of Tesla since basically basically on Monday when it pulled back, and I think that it may readjust down. And actually, I was listening to David Ryan this morning, and he's indicating that it may actually become a short, if you could believe that. But we'll take a look at that as well. I'm rotating some of my positions, and I will show you that coming up here. So just want to show you the Nasdaq Composite. As I say, I mean it's been moving. It's been moving up, but now we seem to that 14,000 that 14,000 level seems to be very key, and it does appear to be pulling back from there. So that's something that that you got to watch out for. Now, I wanted to show you something very interesting, and this is the oil and gas integrated index. And what's happened here is that we may be getting a rebound in this, and as this thing gets closer to 100 and it's making new highs, we may see this relative strength line move up significantly. Now, this is for the entire index, and it's proving to be very interesting. So we may be getting to a point where we will be rotating into some of the newer some of the oil and gas, because that may be where the opportunity is. I want to show you the stock of the day today. Now, again, this is this company had a very, very good report, and it does it does look like there is a movement into this kind of area. This is a company called EQT, and basically it benefits from higher from higher prices on natural gas. And the natural gas futures, of course, have gone through the roof, because the thing about electricity is that most of the net electricity in this country is produced by burning natural gas. And if you can't get enough of it when you need it, the price goes through the roof. It's a really funny commodity, because in West Texas, they flare this, but when you need it, you really need it. And so, basically we may see a return to, maybe not the Enron days, but at least some more movement in this particular area. Now, one of the problems here in Texas has been, to be honest, they have tried to push renewables very hard, and a lot of the power in Texas is windmills, and unfortunately, they don't work very well when it gets really cold. So that's a problem. It's natural gas. It's really what they call a base load that creates what they call the base load. There's only really several ways that you can get that. The best way, of course, is believe it or not, to burn coal, but that has been being phased out. And then the next best way, of course, is nuclear. Both kind of politically unpopular methods of producing baseload power. And so basically, in the last few years, this area has been very underinvested in, of course, for a lot of reasons. And there has been a movement towards renewables and also to these what they call peaker plants, electric plants that use natural gas. So the demand for natural gas seems to be increasing. Now, with this company, basically there is a buy point at 1876. It's actually 1936 here, so it's above that. Now I have a buy stop limit order in on this, at basically 1960, which is a little bit it's probably a little bit extended, but I do think we're going to see possibly a new short-term demand in terms of natural gas due to the due to what's going on in the winter. Now, by the time the summer comes around, this may be all washed up. But at least right now, we have a demand for for some of these natural gas properties. And I'm going to try to bring to you more of this because I think some of these exploration companies do provide a very good opportunity. They've been sort of beaten down, and I do think we're going to see some more interest in the Permian. Now, I did also move into retractable technologies again. This has been one of my favorites, RVP. I moved into the small portfolio as it moved above. As it moved above about this $19 mark here. It's not a really great breakout because of the volume. As you can see, it's not that great. So we'll see how this one goes, but it seems to be coming in. Blinks off a little bit. Of course, it's the electric charging company. Palantir has sort of come back, but it's still well under where it needs to be. And of course, at the beginning of the week, I started buying Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, and that's up sharply. And I think we're going to see more of that as it becomes more apparent. That we're in a situation where we may have an issue with currencies and inflation. There's already a lot of inflation appearing on the screen in the food area and in the fuel area. So we may see, we may see a movement back to kind of the more traditional stocks in those areas. It's funny. I'm old enough to remember when I really date myself, but the Carter administration, when we had a situation where we had inflation, we had tremendous inflation, and I can remember actually at one time you could actually get a savings account that would pay 16%. Now, of course, nothing like that has been seen since then, but and I don't know if we're going back to that. I mean, who knows? But there are some indications that with this new administration, we may be seeing a lot more inflation. The banks definitely have moved up, and we have definitely seen more interest in a lot of things that just for lack of better words, were essentially dead for years. You couldn't get anybody interested in them at all, and that was some of these oil stocks. So we're going to see, we may see some difference. So with all of that, let's get to some of the let's get to some of the comments here from YouTube. Thanks for waiting. Okay, and thanks. Buy point on Riot and Palantir. Here's the thing. Let's take a look at Palantir first. Of course, I'm in Palantir. I don't think, I do think that we're going to have some issues with some of these growth stocks coming up because it does look like, we're going to finally start to see some serious inflation, and that may be that may be an issue for stocks like Palantir. But let's take a quick look at Palantir here and pull that up. Okay. PLTR, of course, is the symbol for Palantir. There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay. So let's see if we could bring that all the way up there. All right. So we're going to first start look at the daily chart here to kind of see if anything has really changed. So let me pull that up in terms of the daily chart. Oops. Well, that's not the right one. I'm sorry. Let me get that corrected here. All right. There we go. There. Okay, Palantir. The buy point on Palantir currently is this consolidation base first stage at 33.50. We're well below that, of course, at 27.75. So we're pretty far below that. Now, here's the thing that you have to be careful with in terms of Palantir. There has been, as you can see, a lot of selling activity here. We have an increase in the volume of selling. It had been moving up very strongly, but now it seems to be there seems to be a lot of selling activity. I do have a stop loss in right about here at 27.50, and I will be sold out. I'd prefer it to go higher, but I don't think right now. I think it is the trend currently is downward for Palantir. So the question is, will it bounce at the 40-day line? Well, it's dropped below that, and the relative strength, as you can see, the relative strength has been pulling down. So here's what I would do on this one. I would be very careful with this right now. I wouldn't enter a new position. I wouldn't don't enter a new position now, and I would set stop loss at 27.50. That's currently where I have it. That's currently where I have my stop loss set. So yeah, so that's really so. Ooh, sorry, got the wrong stuff here. Okay, well, let's see if I can put it. Set a stop loss here for 27.50. I think that's really where you've got to go. It's downward trending right now, and I think that that's really the situation. Right here, basically, is where where you need to set the stop loss. As you can see, I have a little arrow here. That's sort of where I've set my stop loss. Right now, it's pulling back. It may bounce higher, but I think that you got to be very careful with this stock right now, because I do think it is in a I do think it is not reacting as well as we like it. I think there's going to be, unfortunately, some movement out of this stock into some other ones. So with that said, let's look at Riot. That's the other big, that's of course the blockchain, and that usually has some sympathy with the Bitcoin, and it has moved up tremendously. So this is a Climax top. You've got to be careful with the Climax top. Okay, so if you did enter, oops, I just had an alert. An alert happened. Okay, Palantir crossed below. Okay, so I was just sold out of my position in Palantir just as we spoke, because yep, there we go. Let's see if I can get that back up. Okay, I was just sold out of my position in Palantir. Palantir is pulling back, and of course, Riot blockchain is going vertical. Now here's the thing about Riot blockchain that we've got to kind of look at. I'm going to zoom in a little bit on the on it here to show you. This is a classic. This is a classic Climax top, and you have to be very careful with these because well, you got to be. There we go. I won't that let me. Oh goodness. Okay. All right. Well. Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna have to get back there. Okay. Well. Okay. There we go. Now we're back. No. Now we're back here. I wasn't able to see it. So let's see if I can um, move my thing there. Oh, I'm back. All right. Okay. Let's see if I can. Oh, goodness. All right. All right. So I'm sorry about this technical difficulty here. I've got to relaunch the charts. I had a glitch when it came to that. Getting back to that. So hopefully we'll be able to we'll be able to see Riot blockchain here in just a second when I get this back up. Okay. There we go. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that. Here's Riot blockchain. We have this blow off top happening here, and this is a dangerous situation when you see something like this. Here's how you should handle it if you're in this currently. Keep setting your stop losses up. Okay, this is going to pull back. It does have some good volume there, but this is going to pull back. If you buy this right now, set your stop loss very, very tight. I would set my stop loss here. If you're in this one, I would set it at 75 and at absolutely 75. If you're at it's at 75.50. And the reason is because this is going to pull back. The question is when, and we just don't know when it's going to pull back. But my guess is it's probably going to be very shortly. I would not get into this one. It's really not viable right now. This is very extended. This is a very, very extended stock. You want to be extremely careful buying this because if you do, it's going to pull back. So this is a classic. Um, this is a classic Climax top. And so you have to be very careful on these because just as we found out from from GameStop, these will pull back, and when they pull back, they'll pull back hard. So let's kind of see if we can find out some more information about this. I'm gonna change over to the weekly chart here and see what the short interest is. There's 17% short interest. So this is the kind of thing where you have to be very, very careful. Um, 17%. Yeah, I kind of want to put that out there because um, you know, basically what's going to happen is this is going to pull back. So here's what I would do. If I was in the stock, I would set my stop loss up. Um, I would set my stop loss up, keep moving it up. And right now, it's at 77.40. It's getting a run right now. But this thing will pull back and it will pull back hard. So put your stop loss at 75.50. But that's a great question. And I appreciate it. And yeah, so thank you for that. Thank you very much for that. That question. Let's look at the next question Here, buy point on Tesla. Okay. Here's the thing about Gunnar. Tesla, Tesla is not a buy right now because of a number of things, and I want to kind of go through the. I want to go through the list and show you why that is the case. We've had a Tesla has moved below a very key level, and I kind of want to show you that on the charts here. So I'm going to come and zoom in a little bit and see if we can do that. Oh, if it'll let me. Come on. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. No, I don't want to create a QR code. Ay, ay, ay. All right. Let's see if I can zoom in. I can't. It's not letting me. Let's see if I can go. No. Okay. Maybe. Oh God. Come on. It's not letting me zoom in on it here. So let me see if I can. Um, let's see if I can share it again. I'm having issues with my share screen. So let's see if we can share that correctly. And I'm going to share it as a Chrome tab. There we go. There. Okay. Hopefully that will let us do it. Ay ay ay. Oh come on. Oh goodness gracious. All right. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I'm having technical issues here. There we go. Yeah, I'm still having issues with Tesla. Okay, so unfortunately, I can't zoom in on this. I'm trying to, but it's not letting me. It's not letting me zoom in, but I can annotate it. So here's what's happening with Tesla. You can see that it's fallen to the 40-day line. Now it is bounced off of that 40-day line, okay, and it's moved back up to 800. So it went down, and then it bounced up. But my guess is that it may retest this line. So be very very careful that there is a downward trend on the there's a downward trend on the relative strength line. So this is not a good place to be entering entering Tesla. You want in order to buy Tesla, Tesla needs to be above above about 880. So Tesla is buyable above above 880. Because what's happening now is we're seeing a pullback on Tesla. If you buy it at this level, this is a classic what they call head and shoulders pattern. This is the left shoulder here. All right. This is the head here. Yep. And then this is the lower shoulder. So what's going to happen with Tesla is that we're going to see it. We're seeing Tesla break down in terms of a pattern. So what's going to happen is it's going to move below this line, the 40-day line, and then it's going to go once and twice and three, and then it's going to collapse. And I believe it's going to collapse down to about 600, at least in the short term. So what's happening here is Tesla. Is forming a head and shoulders pattern. Get ready to short it. There we go. So basically what's happening here is we have this left shoulder, head, and we're going to form this right. There's going to form a right shoulder, but the right shoulder is already starting to form, and I believe we're going to see it rally above this line. It's going to drop below this line. So there's a key level here that we have to be, we have to be looking for, and that is, um, that is the, and I'm going to set the alert. The alert basically that we need uh, to find out on Tesla is going to be if it drops below, and I believe that's going to be about 780. 780. So I'm gonna put an alert on here. So as you can see, right here, I'm putting an alert, and the reason I'm putting an alert here is because it's pulled above this. But if it pulls below this again, it's gonna show more of a problem. So right now, I would not recommend buying Tesla at this point because it is forming a unfortunately it's forming a, a head and shoulders pattern, and I do think that it's going to be an issue. So thank you for that, Gunter. Appreciate it. Hi, Tom. Uh, do you think that Nestle's in a temporary correction or the chance of? Well, there's always. I think we are going to have a correction. I really believe that. I really believe that we definitely have seen. We definitely have seen some some things happening here. We seem to see a rotation out of growth into into more of the cyclical names, and so this is the reason why the Dow seems to be picking up, whereas the Qs seem to not be doing as well. So I'm going to put up a chart of the QQQ and kind of let's take a look at that really quickly. Unfortunately, I can't annotate this as well as I'd like to, so these numbers are real hard to see. But right now, we are um, we're basically in a situation where the QQQ has pulled off, and it's dropped below a key level. That level being about 350. Now, as you can see, the 50-day line is moved up to about 300. So I do believe right now we have to get defensive, a little bit more defensive in our posture, because I do think we are coming into a period of time in which we may be in a we may be in a little bit of a downturn. So I think that is coming. So thank you. Let's look at Marvell, MRVL. Thank you for that very much. And that was just very close to a breakout. So let's look at MRVL here. And let's see if we can bring that up very quickly here. Great, Marvell Technology Group. I'm going to start with the daily chart because we were very close to a breakout on this one, and that seems to be. There we go. Okay, so hopefully I can. Having a little bit of issues with my, with the. There we go. So let's see. Oh, I did tell Palantir. Okay, so let's put that away and bring up Marvell, MRVL. Right here. So there we go. Now, hopefully I'm going to see if I can share that screen once again. Just okay, let's do the entire screen. So hopefully I'll be able to move this around a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Okay. There we go. All right. Okay. So I think I can. Let's see if I can do this. Nope, that's a search. It's not being kind to me today. I'm trying to get it so that there we go. All right. So here's Marvell. It's tough to see it on this slide, but we had it rallied and then it pulled back. So right now, unfortunately, we're in a situation where looks like it may bounce. Now, if this reverses, this thing may reverse off of the this thing may reverse off of the 40-day, the 50-day moving average. That's at 48.96. If you can see it on the screen, it's pretty small. It's pretty small. I'd like to zoom in, but it's not allowing me to do that. Let's see if I can. Goodness, it's not giving me the option. It's not giving me the option to zoom. Okay. Anyways, I really got used to that, and now I can't seem to do it. Okay. Right. Well, okay. Sorry about that. Okay. So here's the thing about Marvell. It looks like it's potentially breaking down. Now, let's see if it bounces off of this line. If it does, we want to be in it as it moves above 48.90. Okay, right here. But it is pulling back, and let's see if there's any indication of any problems here. Okay, well, we've got the funds are looking good. The checklist is looking excellent. The industry, though, it's 57, which is excellent, but it is falling. As we're seeing, with these higher interest rates, which we're going to be seeing, many of the names are going to be more difficult. Now, I do like the chips much better than just about any of the other areas, but we are seeing, unfortunately, we are seeing a disinvestment into this area. Now, if you're in it, obviously you want to set your stop loss pretty tight. I do think it's going to bounce off of the 21-day, off of the 40-day, off of the 50-day average. I really believe that. But I do think that we are sort of in a situation where the whole tech sector in general is getting more pressure than it was. So here's the thing: I would, at this point on this stock, I wouldn't enter a new position on it. So I would don't enter a new position. On this one right now. And that's just because I do think we're seeing, again, some more. I think we're seeing some more of a of an issue with with tech in general, and this one might not be as good as might not be as good as it's been. So we have to be kind of reticent of that as well. So okay. All right. Well, okay. Well, yeah. Okay. It's not allowing me to zoom in on this. So I'm sorry about this. I'm sorry about the inability. So let's go to a question from TikTok. Thank you for holding. So let's see. Okay. NDL, what do you think makes it go down or not? Okay. This is a good question, and I appreciate you bringing this up from TikTok. The situation, the situation, what makes a stock go up and what makes a stock go down? That's a very, very good question. It really, for the most part, is institutional investors that are, that are in it. That is the main, that is the main thing that is, that is in, that basically is there. So that's the thing you have to be careful with. So your stock, the stock that you are looking at, is NDL. Let's take a look at NDL really quickly and see NDL. Okay, and let's play. Okay, NDL. Right. There we go. Takes a second for it to pull it up, and hopefully we'll have it here in a second. Oh, goodness gracious. We are bandwidth constrained again. I'm broadcasting from home, so some of my technical difficulties here, I'm afraid, are not as good as we'd like it to be. All right, so I'm going to go back to Byron and with a question on Tesla, and I think this is really important. Is it good to buy Tesla when it crosses above the 21-day extended moving average at 820? Well, here's the thing. I think that we're starting to see with Tesla. I think you ought to be a little bit more careful with Tesla going forward because it seems to be having some issues right now. It just does, and for some reason, it looks as if it may be topping. So, long term, I think Tesla is going to be, stellar, obviously. But I think in the short term, we have to be very careful with Tesla because we are seeing some of this, topping action with the stock, and it always happens. So let's go back to the weekly here to kind of show you. Um, this typically happens when the stock gets a little bit gets a little over. It's run up and up and up, as you can see, and it's run up very very nicely. And of course, I was a Tesla bull, and I still am. It was running up very nicely, but it looks as if it's starting to form a topping pattern here, and I think it's more visible if you go over to the daily chart, and you can see it. You see these. There was a left shoulder here. This is the topping, which is about 900, at least in the short term, and you can see it's now moved down below the 10-day, below the 21-day, and it's touching the 50-day. If we see it fail here again, then we probably will have a situation where it may become a short, and it may short all the way down to 600. That's what I'm looking at here. Now, I am not short Tesla right now, and it's quite dangerous to short Tesla. A lot of people have been burned in the past on it. But the one thing I will say is that due to the market conditions, due to the slowing of the economy and the reopening story, we may be in a situation very, very shortly in which even really strong stocks like Tesla don't continue to get the investment. Part of the thing is that next year you're going to see a ton of EVs come onto the market. Ford, GM, everybody else is going to have one, and it's going to eat into their share a little bit, not hugely, but as you can see, one of the things I want to show you about Tesla is it made its last real stand right here in December, as you can see. Since then, there has been falling volume. Okay, and this is very critical because it's it's pulling back, but there's also falling volume. So that tells me that we probably are in for a correction on Tesla. So I would be a little bit careful here at this level. I do think we may be in for a correction on Tesla. So be careful. And you can't. I mean, I wouldn't short it at this point, but I do think that you know we've got to be very, 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 very careful, and we've got to be very, very careful. So don't enter a new position right now. I don't think it's a good time to be entering a new position. So thanks for bearing with me on that. So let's see if we can get something okay. Let's look at CRISPR. CRISPR's been pulling back too. Wow. Thank you. Hi, Jim. My average price on Riot is 1983. It's up a lot now, and I want to add more. So where's it going to go next term? Well, here's the thing: be very careful. Don't add. This is a classic. This is a classic climax top. So this is a classic climax top. and the really important thing here is to protect your gain. You know, that is so important when you've gotten such a very good such a very good result. So let's take a look at Riot blockchain, and this is very key. You really, I mean, you want to be very careful. Right now, we have a climax top. This is a total. This is an absolute climax top. So right now, it's at 79. You want to be start. You want to be pushing your stop loss up. You want to just push that stop loss up. Push that stop loss up. Push that stop loss up. Push that stop loss up, because this is going to pull back. And when it pulls back, if you've set your stop losses, you'll be sold out and you'll make all the money. If you don't, you're going to come right back down here to about 8. Okay, and this is going to be very painful. So my advice here is don't add at this point. I know that you've done great, but be very careful, because I do think that you're going to see something resembling what happened with GameStop. Um, so what's GameStop is GTE? Is that right? No, GST. No, what is it? GameStop. Uh, I forget them so quickly. That's terrible. Um, what is GameStop? GE. GTE. I can't remember what GameStop is. Somebody out there, throw me a bone. What is the what is the symbol for GameStop? Oh goodness gracious! Thanks for holding. Um, well, anyways, what you want to be very careful on this one is you want to you want on Riot, you want to keep pushing that up, but it does look like it is a climax top. So there we go. All right, so let's look at Snow. That's the next one up here. SNOW, and of course that was an IPO, and it's been very heavily subscribed. It's a little bit, you know, it's relatively new, and it's a little bit frothy, as we can see. Here is Riot blockchain. Yeah, did I get that? Am I in there? Okay, no, change it. Change it to that. Okay, let's see if I am I. Yeah, there we go. Okay, there's my new avatar. I thought I would put that up there. Okay, here is Snowflake. It's pulled back. It dropped below the 21-day line. As you can see, this is the cup with handle at 301. We're currently below the buy point at 288.70. Now, it still remains very well subscribed, but the checklist has moved down, so it's 55. So at this point, I wouldn't recommend entering a new position. So for Snow, I think what you're going to have to do on this is, watch list. But wait for more strength. I think what we're going to have to do with watch list is, like so many of these um, other things today. It's just not performing as well as we would like it to see it. Let's look at the daily chart. As you can see, we have, a and by the way, this is a climax top. I just want to show you this. This is why with Riot blockchain, we've got to be really careful. It moves up like this, as you can see, and then it hits this peak, and then there is a massive correction, and it looks as if we're not, we've blown through the support on the 50-day. We're at the 21-day is now below the 50-day. That's not a good thing, and the relative strength is pointing down. So currently, this is not a good buy. This is currently not a good buy. So if you see a climax top like this, again, what you want to do is move your stop loss up as it's ascending. And then eventually it will pull back. And as you can see, it did right there. It pulled back and then just went right down, and it went right down to about the 301 level. So that's kind of the thing that you got to look for on this. So at this point on snow, I wouldn't be a buyer. It just isn't. I don't think it's a place that where you want to be on this. I just don't think it is. All right, so let's see if we have a question on Blink. So I'm in Blink charging as well. I'm in Blink. So let's take a look to see with Blink. BLNK, of course, is the symbol for, and they have a lot of locations. That's the daily chart. So I'm gonna look at the weekly chart first. Kind of look at it. As you can see, it's been a very good performer. There we go. It's been a very good performer. It's just moved right up, but now it seems to be pulling back to the 21-day line. What the relative strength is still 99, but we have a relative strength that looks like it's topping out. Now, here's what I've been doing with Blink. I'm in the process of trying to buy back my options that I did sell. I sold 2 calls, which is sort of a way of kind of shorting it, and then you'll see how that goes. And then if that's successful, then I will probably sell my position in Blink. It is moved off after hours, so it is getting some support at the 50-day line. So that's definitely the case here. But we do have, it bounced right off that, and you can see this is the consolidation right in here. And then of course I had a stop. I have a stop right. I have basically a stop loss right there, and it's pulled up. So it looks like it may be getting some support off of the 21-day line. Now, let's see if this thing reverses higher. I think this one can and probably will reverse higher. Here's what I would do on this one. I would set a buy stop limit order if it moved above the 10-day line. And currently, the 10-day line is right at about, let's see where it is. Yeah, it's right at about 51.60. So the way to play this one, if you're not in it, and I do think this is a good stock, by the way, the way to play it, I believe, is to set a buy stop limit order. There we go. Buy stop limit order for let's see exactly where that's going to be. All right, what I'm doing is I'm looking for the 10-day line. There we go. Yeah, 51.60. There we go, 51.60 plus 10 cents, or $51.70. So that's where I would set a buy stop limit order for this one. Oops. This is where I would set. I get my things wrong. This is where I would set the buy stop limit order at 51.70, and the reason why is because it looks as if it's gone down and it's tested the 50-day line, but it immediately bounced right up. So that's telling me that the programming traders are in there. The question is, it needs to move above the 21-day and then above the 10-day. If it moves above the 10-day, then this will reverse. It's if it does, then it will reverse and go higher. It's sort of, as you can see, this is sort of the pattern that we're seeing here. So buying on a reversal is tough, but you don't want to buy at the bottom. You want to buy it as it's moving above the 10-day line. So if it does goes above the 10-day line, I think it's a buy. I still think we have some fairly good volume in here. We haven't seen a total, we haven't seen a total lack of volume. But as you can see, every time it hits a volume spike, you see that it hit a high there. Now we haven't seen in this sell-off. Fortunately, this has not exceeded this. Now, what happens when there's a sell-off and the volume exceeds the up volume? Then that's a cause for concern. Right now, we're not there. So here's what I would do with with Blink. If you want to, if you want above 5160 plus 10 cents is going to give us 5170. That's where I'd set my buy stop limit order, and hopefully it'll move higher from there. So um, thank you for that. All right, so let's see if we can. Okay, Bitcoin mining. Well, I here's the thing about Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining. Um, it's I mean, a lot of people are doing it, of course, and but it's a kind of situation where I think we're better off with a more fungible asset, and I kind of want to show you a chart here for GBTC. I keep talking about. I've been buying this week for my own account, and what this is this owns about these people own about 4% of the world's Bitcoin, and that seems to be moving much higher. Um, much higher. So let me kind of give you a show, a look-see at the chart. So here we go. Oops, there we go. This is for, and I want to put this in here. This is for the GBTC, and that's basically what this is. Okay, so here we go. As you can see, we've moved up. Now, this is an ETF. It's an exchange traded fund. It's not a stock, so it's a little bit it's a little bit different. But it did hit its it did hit its top here, and now it's moved beyond that. I was buying it as it moved above this $50 line, and why? Because we always want to buy it when it's making a new high. Now, it last time it had the most volume when it hit about 48. Now it's pulled back, and there's been several attempts at more volume. I do believe that it's going higher. I do believe it's going higher because I believe the channel line for this is going to be sort of like this. So at least for right now, I think that Bitcoin is likely to go much higher. And but it's almost at the top of its channel, so there may be a little bit of a pullback at about 56 to 58 is what I'm looking at. But it's very strong. It's been strong today. It's up $3.76, and I do think that we're going to see more strength in the Bitcoin space, just because a lot of people are interested in it. Now, thank you, Alex, for giving me the symbol for the symbol for GameStop. It's funny. I wasn't in GameStop, so I didn't I didn't remember. That's terrible. But GME, and I really appreciate this. Let's take a look at this. This is a classic example of a Climax top, and I want to show you this because this is so instructive of what's happening with Riot blockchain right now. So let's take a quick look at GME. As you can see, it just moved up just like a spaceship. Just like a spaceship, and it just moved up, boom, of course, and then what goes up must come down. So it came right down. it came right down. So unfortunately, if you weren't setting your stop losses up like this, yeah, you're kind of sorry about here. About 400, it sort of went down, and it's now trading at 45, which I think is a fair value for it. But it was a short squeeze. Now I want to show you Riot blockchain, and the reason I want to show it to you is because it's in a similar pattern, and that is it has moved up very quickly. As you can see, it's moved up very quickly. Riot blockchain's moved up very quickly. But and it's getting there, but as you can see, it's starting to pull back. So this is very careful. So looking at Riot blockchain, don't buy Riot blockchain right now. The spaceship is left. Elvis has left the building here, and it's going to pull back, and it's going to do just like GME did. It's just going to pull right down like that. So be very careful if you're right now in Riot. Make sure that you set your stop losses up, move them up. After hours, it looks like it's got a little bit more room to go at 81. I suspect tomorrow will be the climax for Riot blockchain. So Thank you for providing that, Alex. Thank you for providing that information. It's so helpful. So helpful. I can't remember all the things. I really appreciate you sending me that via chat. So that's really great. Hey, Justin, your thoughts on SQ earnings for next week? I bought a pretty good price and recently sold a cover call. Good for you at 300. Thinking about a bull spread for next week. That's a good idea, Justin. By the way, I'm a real huge fan of doing spreads and covered calls. Even though I had to close one today on Roku, it pulled back a little bit on me. I just decided, well, I'm going to close it. But I think on Square, you might be have a winner there. So let's take a look at the chart for Square. Yeah, it's pulling back a tad, but after hours, it's strong. It's still strong. So let's look at the chart for Riot. I mean, not Riot. Excuse me, Square. Um, okay, let's analyze the. I like to analyze the volume because that kind of gives us an idea of the conviction, what they call the overhead supply is, and it looks as if this is significant sell off. So I do see a little bit of weakness here. I do see a little bit of weakness because it seems to be declining. The volume is, it spiked here. So let's look at that. Yeah, it spiked there, and then it's been moving higher, but it looks as if this day is going to give us the the probably the price, and that's going to be, I think, right about there at about 261. So we're at 271 right now. Here's the thing. Um, I think you're going to do very well on the covered call at 300, but don't because I don't think we're going to reach 300 on this one, Justin. I really don't. But I do believe it looks as if, based on this, what I'm seeing here, anyways, it looks as if this is going to pull back on earnings. So, what we might want to consider is not a bull put spread, but maybe a bear put spread, a bear put spread, because it does look like, even if they do very well on their earnings, it looks as if there's a potential for a pullback here. I know that sounds weird, but based on the chart, what I'm looking at, it seems to be, now tomorrow will be the tell if it pulls back a little bit more, but I do think there is a good potential of a pullback after earnings. So that's a very good suggestion, by the way. And I maybe I'll try to put together some scenarios for a bear put a bear call spread. Excuse me, bear call spread. The reason that you should do probably a bear call spread is because that way it's going to give you money in your pocket when you initiate it. So I would be very careful with the bull put spread. It does look like it's going to pull back upon earnings. So that's my thing. I think you're very good with the covered call, because the covered call essentially is a bearish trade, and I do think that based on the chart, based on what I'm looking at the volume, that we're going to see it pull back a little bit upon earnings. I know that sounds strange, but because it's been doing so great, but I do think that we might want to consider a bear strategy rather than a bull strategy. Even though it has 100% on the checklist, the ownership has never been better, and the industry is very good, but it is falling. The rank is 92. It's fallen a little bit. I mean, earlier on this year, it was even more stellar. So I would be very careful initiating a bull put spread. And I want to do a little bit more research on this one, but I do think we may see a pullback. We may see a pullback, and if we do, of course, that wouldn't be the ideal situation. So, thank you, Justin. If you could possibly, I don't know if you can, if you're hopefully you're on Action Trade Alerts. What I'm going to try to do is put together a scenario for a bull, for a bear for a bear call spread on Square, because I do looking at the chart, I think there's a very high likelihood that it will pull back after earnings a little bit, and it's probably going to pull back, I believe, down to about the 21-day line. So that's my guess on it. I really appreciate that though. Okay, well, I am almost at the end of the hour. Just wanted to tell you about Of course, I didn't get to everybody. I'm sorry I didn't get to everyone today. I'm still trying to deal with the technical aspects, and I really appreciate you hanging with me here while I kind of go through everything. Um, hopefully, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to us on at youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor. Really appreciate it, of course. And we do have free action trade alerts. And the great thing about free action trade alerts, of course, is that I try to put out relevant information and trades that I'm making. And sometimes I put together videos on them. And that's available, of course, at www.Dallas Trading Floor. Now, if you're looking on YouTube, I'm on TikTok, super easy. I have a special menu for TikTok people. All you have to do is go to my profile, hit the link. It says Beacons, Dallas Trading Floor, and then it has a little sub menu. And the great thing about this is that you can sign up for the action trade alerts. And of course, I don't sell your information. I just put out to the people that are on that. And of course, subscribe. It's free. And if you want to subscribe, if you want to be taken off the list, no problem either. So, but it's a great way to be updated when new trade ideas come out. And also, there's also a link if you're interested in learning how to trade. I do recommend a book very, very highly. It's called How to Make Money in Stocks: A Winning System, Good Times or Bad, and by William O'Neill. And that's really a good start to look at. It's also available by going to my profile, hitting the link, and then it'll take you right to a place where you can take a look at that book. But I definitely recommend it. Changed my life, and I think it might help your trading as well. So until tomorrow at 2:30. Thanks so much for for looking at the YouTube channel. Thanks so much for coming by on TikTok, and happy trading.